Are you spending time and money attracting people who will never instruct you? I've just watched a YouTube video where a respected industry trainer was talking about sales funnels, and he described it as a numbers game. And he said, if you've got 100 people at the top of your funnel, then you might find one who's looking to use you to sell or let their home. So your job, he said, was to find as many 100 peoples as possible to go into the top of your sales pipeline. And he went on to suggest that offering something of value like a free PDF would be a fair way to get people to opt into your email list so that you can then continue to send them free stuff and emails so that they get to know, like, and trust you over time. So far, so generic. Look, I don't want to be too harsh here because for a long time I bought into this strategy too. In fact, I do still suggest this approach with other clients as a useful way to generate leads. But crucially, they're not estate agents. I do a bit of work in other industries, non-property related, where this strategy does actually work. But having given this matter a lot of thought, the light bulb moment came for me when I realized some time ago that if in fact it is a numbers game, then the numbers we need to hit as estate agents or letting agents to be successful is very, very low. Much lower than in many other industries. And if you think about it, if you're a self-employed agent running a tight ship with a handle on your costs, all it takes is another couple of instructions every week or even every month to make a big difference to your income. If you don't believe me, I recently saw a statistic from a respected industry trainer which said that only 40% of estate agents listed more than 4 listings a month. That's 60% who are listing less than 1 a week. So in that context, is it really worth all that effort in attracting 99 people who won't ever instruct you on the off chance that you'll also find the one person that does need your help? Immediately I started thinking of needles in haystacks. To me, wouldn't it be far more sensible to focus all of your marketing efforts on attracting that one person and completely ignore the other 99? Because this is the key thing. The one thing that all of these funnel gurus won't tell you is that getting 100 people to opt in for a free PDF or a webinar or whatever is actually bloody hard work. And then, even if you can manage to do that, you've got to rinse and repeat next week and the week after and the week after, over and over and over again. Doesn't it make sense to design our marketing to empower our ideal sellers and landlords to seek us out? Because that's a pretty novel idea, isn't it? You know, getting marketing in place that attracts your ideal sellers. I think it's worth at this stage thinking about what ideal sellers want, or what do they want to do. And one of the crucial things that was a great revelation to me is ideal sellers want to act fast. If you're thinking about who your ideal seller is, surely you want someone who wants to instruct you sooner rather than later. Otherwise, they wouldn't be ideal. But I want to go a little bit deeper and spend some time outlining the difference between ideal sellers and average sellers. But before I do, can I just take a minute to ask you to hit like and subscribe, as it really helps. It really helps the channel to grow. Now, back to ideal sellers versus average sellers. Most average sellers never instruct you, let's face it. If they do, they'll probably want to be nurtured over months beforehand, which obviously takes time and money for you to do so. They may eventually book you in for a valuation, but chances are they'll also invite a couple of your local competitors along too, and it turns into a free valuation beauty parade. Contrast this with ideal sellers, who more than likely will speak to you and only you. And if it is a free valuation beauty parade, do the maths. It's a lottery where, to be honest, you've only got a 1 in 3 or a 1 in 4 chance of getting the business. If they do give you the business, they'll probably and and try to beat you down on fee. And they may also have unrealistic expectations about the price they'll achieve, or they'll have an equally unrealistic rose-tinted view about how attractive their property is and is going to be to their potential buyers. At the end of the day, they can be bloody hard work during the process. And as a result of this, they're not going to be the ones who will really appreciate your efforts and all the hard work that you've put in. So the chances of getting a glowing testimonial or many referrals are pretty low. And I'm betting that a number of you viewing this have started nodding your head as I went through that list. This is why, wherever possible, we don't even want to attract average sellers, because they'll just clog everything up and slow you down. Surely it's far better to attract ideal sellers who don't present all of those problems and will want to act fast. But come on, I'm not naive. I know it will never play out like this in the real world. So you're always going to have a mix of ideal sellers and not so ideal sellers as clients. But surely you can engineer your marketing so that it's geared towards ideal sellers, not just average ones. In that way, can you not see a time where 70 or 80% of your sellers were ideal? I love the 80-20 principle. I know that it pops up pretty much everywhere in life, and it's certainly achievable here. And think about that. How would your business feel if you had 70 or 80% of your instructions coming from ideal sellers who seek you out, more often than not, only you, and instruct you with very little hassle and in a short space of time? The other 20%, well, they'd be not so ideal, they would need more nurturing, they'd take longer to fall into place. Fair enough, you can probably live with those numbers, but compare that to the other way around. If nurturing is your primary strategy, where you are getting lots of people in at the top of your funnel and nurturing them over time, then you may actually be missing out on the lion's share of the ideal sellers who've long since moved on, found a solution and got somebody else to help. So that's pretty sobering. It's a lot of work for only 20% of the catch. And the real kicker is that to get that 20%, you're actually having to nurture a much larger audience, which is going to take a whole load more PDFs, a load of emails, lots and lots of social media posts, and a whole load of work for potentially a small return. And of course, as that nurturing audience grows, the numbers grow, but still it can take years for these people to fall into place. And from my experience of being an agent and working with estate agents and letting agents, I know that you're generally not the most patient bunch. And all the while, you've got to keep thinking up new stuff to keep nurturing them, new emails, new content, new blog posts. And I know from my own experience that can very easily start to drain your marketing mojo. So I would suggest you have a look at your processes, have a look at your marketing to see whether you are falling into the trap of doing the numbers game, where you are trying to get a lot of people in to eventually shake them out for only a very, very small number to actually land as clients who instruct you. And if you are, then I'd strongly suggest you look again at your processes and see if there's any way that you can change that, so you are focusing more on the ideal sellers and landlords, the 1 or 2 people who will instruct you, rather than the 99 or 98 who won't. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've found it insightful, and it might have started you thinking a little bit differently about how you approach your business and your marketing. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to hit like down below, and if you don't want to miss out on any future videos, hit subscribe, and then you'll receive a notification when I next upload one.